One issue that we face is environmental health. The earth is taking too much of our pollution buildup and is suffering from it. We need to keep the environment cleansed of various toxins and contaminants to prevent global warming. This may be done in many ways through cleaning litter and pollutants so areas may be more presentable and decent for our ecosystem. Another issue involves the locations of occupations. Most people do not find the satisfaction in moving to new places to obtain a job. They do not relish the idea of moving away from the place they call home. Consequently, we should have jobs close to our homes so moving is not necessary. In addition, the person I conversed with stated an issue of land erosion by water. I was well informed that land is constantly eroding on the southern coast. We could accumulate and send bags of dirt there to prevent our land from going under the Gulf of Mexico. You might be cognizant of the fact that most erosion is created by human activity. What may be in your utmost concern is the fact that placing an exuberant amount of debris in drain pipes can be a cause of flooding. Taking care of pipelines could influence progression of excellent drainage instead of increasing the rate of deluge. I also found that safety and damage are two primary concerns in the community. Damage can be very serious, especially in circumstances of storm damage. Storms could destroy anything varying from buildings to roads. We should generate precautions to easily survive these ferocious tempests. After a storm leaves, we should clean the destruction that is left behind. For example, we could resurface roads and reduce traffic in the process. Safety relative to damage differs from safety relative to protection. Assurance of safety throughout an area, such as a city, is an extreme issue within today's community. Providing an adequate amount of safety in an area would ensure the protection for all citizens. This is ideal to the expression safety in numbers. Another issue of a community is peer pressure. Many students think it is cool to follow the popular students or cliques around them. They think it makes them popular for being like the cool kids. Eventually, these students want to be so close to the popular students to the point in which they consider peer pressure, such as drug abuse, and ruin their lives. To resolve, or at least prevent this, we should hold classes like the DARE program to teach children to follow the right paths and be themselves, because we do not need two of the same person in our world. These students do not need to live up to the expectations or live the lives of other people. Education makes a person cool, not fitting in. We need to make sure the future generation stays for the future. My interviewee also spoke of how much people argue about their levels of mentality. Some people in the world have low mentality and sometimes are arrested for it. In other words, someone might commit a crime and they would get incarcerated since their poor mentality tempts them to do so. Instead, instantaneously putting someone in jail, police officers should relate to the culprit and treat him or her with psychiatric aid. In the process, the person would gradually gain his or her mentality and would be restored to normal. This is just a portion of the many issues that we can apply simple things to make big differences in our community. In my honest opinion, I do not find these issues fair or right to our community either. In fact, I find them very demeaning to the human race. Although we should still pitch in to decrease the amount of these quandaries. There are also many issues that cannot be fixed, though, such as gas prices and government laws. However, a matter of life is to fix issues if possible, so citizens may live in a harmonic community. Life is always ready for shifting as long as we input into it, because in my perspective, life is change. Isn't that the purpose of nature, to allow change? If you resist any of life's changes, you will be left behind, especially with technology rapidly advancing the functions of everyday life. Change must happen for it to take a village. Thank you.
I may be only 11, but I have traveled the world and met many famous people. I've been to England with Jim Hawkins to hunt for treasure, to Denmark to witness the Holocaust, to Camp Half-Love at Percy Jackson, and deep into the forest to learn the ways of a warrior cat. I have journeyed to magical lands with Bilbo Baggins the Hobbit and Harry Potter the Wizard. These voyages have taught me valuable lessons about teamwork, courage, and loyalty. The vehicle for my travels is not an airplane, bus, or train. I'm only 11, after all, and these forms of travel are quite costly. Books have been my vehicle to travel the world, and our libraries are filled with this form of free travel. After researching the importance of reading, I learned a great irony. Reading, a free form of travel that can take us places as far as we want to go, is one of the greatest dividers between rich and poor. According to the U.S. Department of Education, over 44 million adults in the United States cannot read well enough to take their child on a trip to try green eggs and ham and meet Sam I Am. The typical middle-class child enters first grade with about 1,700 hours of traveling with the Cat in the Hat, while a child from a low-income family averages just 25 hours of travel. It is estimated that the results of limited book travels are costing our nation over $20 billion a year. How can we motivate those who are afraid or uncertain about how to travel the world in the pages of a book? First of all, I challenge the television media to implement a nationwide reading campaign. I would especially like to see a reading campaign on channels geared toward children like Disney and Nickelodeon. For example, the Hannah Montana show could have an entire show with Hannah Montana and her friends participating in a readathon. All children watch television and admire the stars of their favorite shows. So this type of reading campaign could encourage children to travel the world in pages of a book. Besides the media focus on reading, I also challenge parents to become reading role models for their children. Emerson's favorite quotation, "Your actions speak louder than your words," is the best reason why parents need to model reading. The home is the first school for children, so there must be an emphasis to fertilize the roots of our nation's blossoming readers. Finally, I challenge students like me to become reading role models. One of the best ideas I have seen of students being reading role models is at one of our local high schools. The star athletes took pictures in their uniform with their favorite book. At the top of the picture, it said the athlete's name with the words, "Got caught reading." These pictures were displayed in the school's hallways, and the athletes participated in a reading pep ride to fire students up about reading. After this creative reading campaign, the schools noted an increase in the number of reading voyages. In closing, traveling through the pages of books is how an 11-year-old girl like me can visit magical places and meet extraordinary people. It is imperative that we band together to create a nation with deep reading roots.